Yesterday we had discussed about resource allocation graph, which is used to detect deadlock in our system. Today we are going to see the second method to check whether we have deadlock in our system by using safe state. So what is a safe state? The system is in the safe state only if there exists a safe sequence of processes. For example, we have five processes P0, P1, P2, P3, P4, and here we are going to find a sequence of processes like P1, P2, P0, P4, P3 for where for each process Pi the resources that Pi can still request can be satisfied by the currently available resources plus the resources held by other processes. So that sequence will ensures us that there will be the no deadlock. So what is the deadlock? What is the unsafe state? If there is a deadlock, that means there is unsafe state. If there is an unsafe state, that means there is a deadlock. So we are trying to find out the sequence of resources which allow the sequence of processes which allow the processes to complete its execution by requesting the resources whose need can be granted by the available resources plus the resources held by other processes, and still there is no deadlock. So that is a safe sequence. Okay. Now we are going to consider one example in which processes P0, P1, P2 needs the maximum resources as 10, 4, 9, but given only 5 to 2. So what we are going to do? First we are going to calculate what is the total number of resources left after allocating resources to processes P0, P1 and P2. So for that we have formula Ni available will be the available minus total allocated to the processes P0, P1, P2. So here we can see that the total number of resources given to process P0 is 5, P1 to 2, P2 to 2. So total count will be 5 plus 2, 7 plus 2, 9. So the total number of processes currently allocated is 9. So the total number of available resources in the system will be total available minus allocated to process, which is 12 minus 9, which is 3. Now after that we are going to check the need matrix of each of the processes. Actually process P0 requires 10 but actually given 5. So total how many resources will be needed by process P0 to complete its execution will be 10 minus 5 will be the 5 more processes will be needed by process P0 to complete its execution. Similarly by P1 require 4, actually given 2. So how much more will be needed by P1 to complete its execution will be 4 minus 2 will be again 2. And lastly for P2 requires 9, given only 2, so it will require 7 more to complete its execution. So that is nothing but we have calculated the need matrix for P0, P1, P2 as 7, as 5, 2 and 7 with the available resources left in the system as 3. So now we are going to try to do is we are going to check whether with the 3 number of resources in our hand can the request of any process will be fulfilled or not. For example, what we are going to do, we are going to use the formula for any P of I, the need of that P of I, whether it is less than equal to the available resources in the system. So for that we are going to start with P0 and we will check whether the need of P0, which is 5, is less than equal to the available resources 3. So here the need of P0 is 5, which is greater than the available resources. That means P0 requires 5, but we don't have in our hand 5 resources, we have 3 resources which cannot be given to process P0. Then we will go ahead and check for second process P1 whether the P1 request or the need can be fulfilled with the available resources. Yes, P1 requires 2, we have in our hand 3 resources, so that can be given to process P1. So what we are going to do, after giving 2 more processes to P1, what the P1 will do, it will complete its execution and will return the system the resources which was allocated to the process P2. So what we are going to do, we are going to, in short, what we are going to do, we are not going to give process P1 to two more processes with them and the available resources will be one. In short, what we are going to do, directly we are going to release the resources from P1 and we are going to think that P1 has completed its execution and that allocated resources of P1 will be given back to the system. So actual available was 3 plus P1, whatever P1 has released is 2. So that is the shortcut. So the new available will be available plus P1 allocated resources, so that will be 5. So P1 has completed its execution, that we have to think, and will be added into the save sequence. Now we will go and search for the second processes whose request can be fulfilled by the available resources as 5. So now P2 needs 7 resources which cannot be handled. P0 requires 5 resources, that means his request can be granted easily. And what will be the shortcut formula? So the new available will be available plus whatever allocated to P0 previously. P0 has already allocated 5, to 5 plus available resources will be 10. Then that means P0 has completed its execution. P0 will be added into the save sequence. Now next will we go for the second I. After P0 completion, what is left? P1 is already completed, so P2 is left. So we will go and check whether the request of P2 can be fulfilled with the available resources, which is 10. Yes, P2 requires 7. With the available resources 10 can fulfill the requirement of P2. So what will be the shortcut is then the new available will be available, which is 10 plus already allocated to P2, so that will be 12. That means now the save sequence will be P1, P0 and P2. So that will make our save sequence. If at the end we are getting the save sequence, that means that system is in the safe state. There will be no save sequence, that means the system will definitely go into the deadlock condition, or we can have multiple save sequences. So this is a method of how we are going to find the save sequences for the given question. So if there is a save sequence, there will be no deadlock. If there is a deadlock, definitely there will be a unsaved condition. So this is how we are going to find out the save sequences by calculating the available resources in the system. Initially total resources in the system was 12. After allocating two processes, how many were left is 3, and what we are getting at the end is again back to 12. So this is a very important tip for cross checking your answer. What was given initially, that is 12, has to be written back at the end, that is again 12 tape in our previous example. So that is the method or the technique we can say it for cross checking our answer. Okay, so that is very important tip, because this kind of question they used to ask for 10 marks. So first of all, we had to, if it is not directly given the total count of the available resources, so what we had to do, we had to count the number of available resources. So how we are going to count the number of available resources? Total. How we are going to find the total number of resources in the system will be what? The total allocated to all the processes plus actual available in the system, that will give us the total count. For example, the first question that is for today's session is in where we have P0, P1, P2 allocated as 2, 4 and 6, maximum requirement 4, 8 and 12, and available is 2. So what we are going to do before starting solving this question, what we are going to do, we are going to find out the total number of resources in the system. So the total count of allocated is 12 plus available is 2. So total count makes as 14. So at the end, after solving, we should get 14 as the resources returned back to the system. Okay. The second question also we have to, what do we have to do? We have to first find out, as it is not directly given the total count of the resources in the system. So what we are going to do? First find out the total number of resources, that is 3, plus number of resources which is has matrix. We add them and we are going to find the total number of resources. So these two questions you have to solve and send through the Google form, send the answer.